what part of my brain thinks that I can read 7 books in 7 days while working a 9 to 5, but it's Memorial Day weekend this weekend, so maybe I have a chance. We're gonna try to read short books, graphic novels, and I also have some audiobooks, so I think we have tools in our arsenal to use, but this is still gonna be a struggle. Our first victim is going to be The Haunting of Velkwood. I'm like halfway through this audiobook and I'm dying to talk to somebody about it. We're following our main character Talitha, and she has come back to her childhood home, but her childhood home has ceased to exist. It's a ghost town, and the fact that there are actual ghosts walking around and no one is able to go in or come out of it except for these 3 women who were there the night before it turned into this ghost town. And it's our main character and her 2 best friends from growing up. I'm absolutely loving everything about this. I love a ghost story, and this is like my perfect ghost story. There's a reason for the ghostiness to be happening, and we're getting more explanation than I feel like I typically get in a ghost story. There is something driving this, and there is a reason behind it, and something happened the night they left, and I'm just so excited to figure out more about this. But we're playing with time, we're playing with space, playing with relationships. Our main character is being haunted by her past and by these ghosts. She has a lot of love for her little sister who is a ghost on this street, and there's something that they're trying to cover up, and I love everything about it, and I cannot wait to finish reading it. I need to cook some lunch, and then we are going to go on a little walk, and I'm gonna listen to my audiobook for all of it. So without further ado, let's get reading, and tell me what you're reading in the comments, and we can have a little buddy read together. Happy Saturday. Dan and I drove into Gastonia, which is like an hour away from Charlotte, to go to this restaurant that was built in this old movie theater. It was so cool. We were sat on like the 2nd floor, so they had a projector up over the kitchen showing like old movies. It was just a really fun experience. Would highly recommend if you ever find yourself in Gastonia, North Carolina. I have also just finished reading The Haunting of Velkwood. This is 5 stars, one of my favorite ghost stories I have ever read. I feel like I've kind of been in a horror slump recently. I feel like I've been chasing the feeling of the hollow places ever since I read that book, which was years ago now. And I am so happy to say that The Haunting of Velkwood is everything that I am looking for in a horror book. The writing was immaculate. All of the characters were so well fleshed out. There were stakes. There was just enough reasoning behind the haunting, and there was just enough explanation, but there was still a lot that was not explained, and I think that's kind of my perfect mix with a ghost story. Like, I want there to be a reason for the ghosts. I want to understand why the ghosts are there and why there is a haunting, but I don't really want all of the supernatural stuff explained to me. And that's exactly what this book did. I absolutely loved exploring Brett and Talitha's relationship. It just felt so real and so raw and so complicated in the way that those relationships always are. This was just such a well done book, and I really encourage all of you to go read it. It wasn't very scary, so I think if you're someone who's trying to get into horror or you like more literary horror, this is really gonna be up your alley. I wasn't like scared to go to sleep. I wasn't scared to see shadows. There weren't many truly horrifying scenes, but it is very much a ghost story. Before we get any further, I need to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Parade. I am so excited to be getting to work with Parade again, because last time I worked with them, I received this bralette in this beautiful little green color, and I loved it so much. This is the softest thing I've ever put on my body that I needed to get it in a different color. This is the Lush Sculpt Plunge Longline Bralette. I am seriously wearing these all the time. I wear them to do Pilates, I wear them to lounge around the house, I wear them as shirts, I sleep in them, they're that comfortable. This is the Lush Rib fabric, and like I said, it is so soft. It's sourced from responsibly managed beech forests, so it's literally made from trees. It's made using 97% less water than traditional cotton, and it is absolutely insanely comfy. The best news is that they gave me an even higher discount code, so you guys have 50% off the entire site from now until July 5th. This is part of their summer sale, and Parade is saying that this is the best deal you'll get on their stuff all year. So if you've been looking to try them out, now is a perfect time. To get that 50% off, all you need to do is use my code, which is KatieMarie50 when you check out. And I'll leave my link in the code in the description for easy access. Thank you so much to Parade for sponsoring this video. Back on to our readathon. So we have completed one book. We are on our second day. We need to pick something to read today. And I'm kind of feeling like I want a little cozy fantasy palette cleanser after our horror that we read. So I think I'm gonna grab a graphic novel. These are our two options. We have Snapdragon, which is really calling my name because there's a possum mommy with possum babies on the back, and I love possums. It sounds like there's a witch in this town and our main character is going to go to her for some help, I think. And then we also have Magical Bakery Moment in this magical world. I think our two main characters are gonna fall in love. I may possibly be meeting a friend at a coffee shop, so I think if we go to a coffee shop, I'm reading this one because magical coffee shop, I have to read it in a coffee shop. Otherwise, we'll go with this, and you will see in the next clip what I choose. Done zero of the things that I told you I was going to do, and instead we went shopping. So I did not end up reading Snapdragon or Crumbs, but I have started an audiobook while I was driving around called I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons, and it's a very cute little cozy fantasy situation. We've met a prince, we've met a princess, we've met a dragon exterminator. I think those are all the characters we've met, and I'm very excited to see how this all comes together. What do you want first? Do you want a clothing haul, a Trader Joe's haul, or a Barnes & Noble haul? Let me show you the clothes first. I went to my favorite consignment store, which is Uptown Cheapskate. I picked up this little Ralph Lauren polo dress, 20 bucks. I just love little details like this. I just think that's so cute. So, very excited about this. That'll be a nice little work dress. And then we got some yogurt. These are my favorite yogurts. I got them in all of the flavors that they have. And tonight, we're eating soup dumplings for dinner, so I got a couple of these. Okay, let's talk books. Barnes & Noble is having a big sale for Memorial Day, so we got like 3 times stamps. I ended up having, I think, $15 on my like membership to spend, so I only spent like 30 bucks on 3 books, and I'm really happy about that. So I had to get the second volume of Lightfall. I read the first volume in my 24-hour readathon, and I loved it so much, and I've been desperate to pick this one up. And I thought that this video might be a good excuse since I need short things. And then I got 2 other short book options. Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. I've not seen anyone read this. Please let me know in the comments if you have. I feel like the ones I see most often are Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and The Trees Grew Because We Bled There or something. But I don't think I've seen anyone reading this one. And the book itself, I eat up things like this where it's a little art form in the book in addition to being a reading experience. I like a visual experience too, and it's called Everything the Darkness Eats. Horrifying. I can't wait to find out what this is about. I paid $20 for a book that is 101 pages, and that feels like a bad financial decision, but I really want to find out what this little novella is about. It seems like our main character is going to be in the mind of the last wolf that exists. And I'm just a sucker for sci-fi. I'm a sucker for what does it mean to be human type stories. And I'm also a sucker for wolves. So I have high hopes for this. This is a 5-star prediction. I think I put this on my most anticipated of 2023. I don't think it came out this year. I think it came out in 2023. But anyways, really excited about this. And that's my cute little haul of short books that we're gonna read in the next couple of days. Which means that I still have not read anything for this day. We started an audiobook, but I feel like that's gonna have to count for one of the like weekdays because I'm just gonna read it while I'm on walks or in the car. So we need something to read physically right now. I don't think I can stop myself from putting this off any longer. So I'm gonna go sit my little butt on the couch and read this, and then we can gush about it together. I finished reading Lightfall Volume 2, Shadow of the Bird, and this was so cute and so sweet. I absolutely love this graphic novel series. They have action, they have adventure, they have this glorious little cast of characters, and we had a couple of people that we knew from the first book pop back, some minor characters pop back in, and we also got to know some brand new people. The cat played a role in it again. We had a dragon. We had this adorable little creature. He's my favorite. I love him so much. We uncovered some secrets about this world and why it is the way that it is. I just really love this series so much. Going and buying this in person, I think the last one I had, no, one of you guys sent it to me. So I had never gone in person to a bookstore and picked it out. I never really clicked in my head that this was a middle grade book, like this is a children's book. So when I was in Barnes & Noble, I had to go upstairs to the children's section to find it. Because I had that sitting in my head while I was reading this, I was just thinking about how much I wish that I had books like this growing up. Our main character is definitely having some anxious thoughts and is dealing with them in a really healthy way, and her friends are helping her to work through them. And we're also getting to see characters make mistakes and do things that they think is right but maybe is not right. And they don't always catch themselves at the last minute and go, wait, no, this isn't the right thing to do. Sometimes they do make the mistake, and now they have to deal with the consequences of that. I think this is really, really well written, and I can't wait to read it to my kids one day. So we have read 2 books in 2 days. The challenge is successful thus far. I am off to go have a cocktail night with the girlies, and I need to show you what we're making. Usually our cocktail nights have a theme, and so each one of us brings a different cocktail. My friend Trista wrote her thesis in college on Mad Max Fury Road, and the new one comes out this weekend. So the theme is make a cocktail inspired by your favorite movie, or however you'd like to interpret that. And I was thinking a lot about this. I was gonna do something from Dead Poet Society, do something pretentious with some whiskey, and then I said, no. You know what the best part of going to see any movie is in the movie theater? It's the Coke Icy. That's what I love about the movie theater. And you guys can tell me it's gross in the comments if you want to, but I love it. So we're gonna try to make our own Coke Ices. So I tried to make ice cubes out of Coke, and it went like this. So I was gonna like take them out of here and try to put them in a bag, but I don't know if that's even possible. I'm gonna take all of my cola and ice there, and we will make a drink. I love cocktail night. It's so much fun. And I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. We will read our 3rd book. I completely forgot to tell you guys about how cocktail night went. It was fantastic. The Coke Ices were a success. We made rum and Coke Ices and whiskey Coke Ices. They were very fun. Everyone else was super creative. For Mad Max, my friend made a ranch water because of the aqua cola situation. That was really creative. All the other girlies went out afterwards. I was sleepy, so I went to Dan's house and fell asleep on his couch watching a documentary about dinosaurs. So I had a lovely night. And obviously you needed that vital piece of information. So I'm me from the future here to inform you of that. Back to the video. Happy Sunday. I'm about to head out to the coffee shop, and I'm going to bring, I don't know if I'm ready for horror, but this is really calling my name. So I'm gonna try to read a little bit of it. And if it is the vibe, we'll read this. If not, we'll do a little sci-fi interlude. But while I'm here, let me give you an update on I'm Afraid You Have Dragons. I am a little over 30% of the way through it. This is such a cute little cozy fantasy. I got this as an advanced listener copy from Libro FM's influencer program. I'm so grateful because I don't think I ever would have picked this up. It was blurred by Travis Ball, tawdry. It looked interesting, it looked cozy fantasy, and I'm really glad that I picked it up because it is such a delight. There is intrigue, there's mystery, it's humorous, it's quirky. I feel like I know all of our characters already. I'm really interested in what they all have to say. They all have flaws, they're not two-dimensional. I just think it's really well written, and I think it's a really interesting story, and it still is remaining cozy, even though we have this situation where we have this dragon exterminator. Dragons are kind of like pests in this world, so they're very small to very large. Most of the time they're large rat-sized basically, and they are pests, and they live in the walls of like decrepit castles and things like that. This dragon exterminator, he inherited this job from his father, and he doesn't like doing it. He doesn't want to do it. He hates killing these dragons. Oftentimes he will try to save dragons and like hide them in his home and try to look after them, and they're like these little puppy dog type situations. And it's just a really interesting dynamic, an interesting story to follow, where he has such care and respect for these dragons, but his profession is a lot of times requiring him to kill them. And I just thought it was an interesting story that I don't think I've ever heard that perspective of before. So I'm enjoying it a lot. I'll keep you guys updated. Let's head to the coffee shop and get some more reading done. I forgot to turn my AC back on after I turned it off to film my clip right before I left, so it is 80 degrees in my house right now, and it is toasty, so we're gonna be quick so I can turn it back on. But I am halfway through Feed Them Silence. I'm loving this so much. So we are following our main character. She is the one who's interfacing with this wolf. It's one of the last like 2 known wolf packs in existence. She has something in her brain, and the wolf has something in her brain, and our main character is able to like feel the wolf's emotions and feelings and thoughts and everything, and it's so cool and so interesting. We're also at the same time following our main character's relationship with her wife and the really rocky situation that they're going through, and they're not doing well in their relationship, and it's just really, really good. It is raw and empathetic and real and hard, and there's moments of joy, and it's just all about connection and empathy. Our main character's just desire for connection and belonging, and the way that she's able to feel that through this wolf and not able to feel that in her own relationship, and is willing to work on the connection with the wolf but isn't willing to work on the connection in her relationship, and it's just absolutely stunning. I'm gonna hopefully finish that by the end of today. I've also still been reading the audiobook for I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons, and that's going really well. We went to Le Jour. I got a lot of different things. I ate the pain au chocolat already, but they had pastéis de nata. They're little Portuguese like custard tarts. And then there's also, I got a curry croquette that I want to try with you guys because I have no idea what this is going to taste like, but I feel like it's going to be delectable, so we'll try it together. Yep, that is stunning. I love that a lot. I'm gonna eat my little treat and turn my AC back on, and I will probably see you tomorrow. Hello friends, happy Monday. This is Rue, who I am watching for the next 24 hours. Her sister is outside getting some fresh air, but we have finished another book and I need to tell you about it. So I finished Feed Them Silence, which is actually perfect timing for hanging out with a bunch of dogs. The connection that our main character had to this wolf was so emotional and raw, and I loved absolutely everything about this book. I talked about a lot of it when we were talking about the first half of it, but it just progressed really nicely. We have this research that's supposed to be very objective and very clinical, and we also have this really raw emotional connection that our main character has to this wolf that she's in her head all of the time. Things are happening to these wolves, and the more bad things happen to them, the better their research is. But obviously our main character has this like visceral connection to her, and then some things start to go wrong in the research, and there's some conflicting priorities and values. It just creates a lot of internal conflict, and then the whole time we also have this really interesting relationship with our main character and her wife unfolding, and how they're struggling with their connection, and it's just so well done, you guys. I absolutely adore this, and I'm really glad that this video gave me an excuse to read it. We now need to pick something else to start. I did bring 2 horror books with me, but I feel like I need something cozy, so I think we're gonna start with Snapdragon. That seems like a good plan to me. Let's get into it. It's Wednesday. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I spent yesterday and the night before crying a lot for some personal reasons. It threw a bit of a wrench in my plans, as that often does, but I finished reading Snapdragon last night and it is absolutely lovely. There's this woman who like all the students are calling a witch, and our main character Snapdragon goes over to her house. She's trying to find her dog who she lost, and she thinks that the rumor is that this woman eats animals, and so she goes to see if he's there, and he is there, and she's kind of like helped him, and we're slowly uncovering who this woman is, and she's got a connection to our main character, and it gets magical, and it's just so beautiful and tender, and I loved it a lot. It's queer, it's inclusive, we have a trans character in here. I just really love everything about this. Snapdragon was so much fun. I had a huge smile on my face. I was reading this while Dan was over last night. He cooked me dinner, which was very sweet of him, and I was just kind of sitting, hanging out in the kitchen with him, and I laughed out loud multiple times, which he got a kick out of. I don't think he's ever like watched me read something before, which seems like that can't be true because I read all the time. Maybe he's never watched me read something funny because he was a little taken aback that I laughed out loud while reading it, but I had a really lovely time, and I'm feeling much better today. Today is much better. We're doing better. We're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. Sometimes life just throws something at you and you gotta have some tough conversations, but I think everything's gonna work out in the end, which is something that I'm very grateful for. Now you're caught up. Because I had a rough couple of days, Dan brought me my favorite candy and a book. So we're gonna head home. I'm just at work right now, but I need to run home and do some video filming, video editing for work. So we're gonna go do that at home. I can't do that in the office. When we get there, I can show you a little haul of nice things that Dan did for me because we had a rough couple of days. The good news is that we're still on track. We've read 5 books. We have 2 more to read. It's Wednesday. We have 2 more days to do this. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be our next victim. And I'm also now reading The Honey Witch on audiobook, which I'm loving, but I will tell you more about when we get home because like honey, I am feeling very melty and sticky at the moment because it is a million degrees in this car, so let's go. In all the chaos that was those couple of days, I completely forgot to tell you that I had finished I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. I liked it a lot. It is quite a bit darker than most cozy fantasies that I've read, although it is still marketed as a cozy fantasy, so heads up, there are dragons that die, there are humans that die, it does have stakes, it does get dark, there are some bad people in it doing some bad things, but it does all kind of work out in the end. There's still some traumatizing things that happen, so heads up on that, but I did really enjoy it. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.75 as my rating. I also never told you what this book is about, which is the book that I'm about to start reading. This is a possession story by Sarah Gran. I've read from her before with the Book of the Most Precious Substance. This was like a thriller, dark sex magic situation, and this one is a possession story. We have this woman who starts to think that she might be possessed. She finds this book. It's got this quiz in it that you take to see if you're possessed by a demon. As the book progresses, as the possession progresses, she takes the quiz more and more times and gets higher and higher scores, and her life starts to fall apart around her. And now you are actually all caught up. Okay, I am cooking some food, so ignore the sizzling noises. But I want to show you guys the book that Dan got me. I showed you guys this in Barnes & Noble. I told him about it because this is my favorite bar in New Orleans, and I was so shocked to see it in Barnes & Noble in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it has like a map of NOLA, and it's got just intermixed in between the drinks. It has all sorts of fun facts about Cure, which is the bar, and also New Orleans as a whole. It has like some of my favorite dive bars in it. It's got a page on Mardi Gras, it's got a page on drive-through daiquiris. It's just so cute and fun. And yesterday, I had a bad day. Not only did he bring me this, he brought me 3 full-size candy bars of all of my favorite candy, and he cooked me dinner. We had a rough 24 hours there. I'm really grateful to be in a relationship where we can have hard conversations and work through things with kindness and respect and figure out what's best as a team. Anyways, I have started reading a new book. I'm reading The Honey Witch. It's the audiobook that I have chosen. I've been doing a lot of driving the past couple of days, so I've gotten a fair amount into it already. We have our main character who never knew that she was a witch until her grandmother comes and helps her to like awaken her powers, and she gets to go and live with her grandma and learn all of these different things, and she's a honey witch, so her magic is rooted in honey, and there's this conflict between the honey witches of her generation, of her family line, and these ash witches who are like the opposite of them. Because of that, there's a curse on her family that they can't fall in love, and her mother gave up her magic so that she could fall in love, and that's how our main character exists. Anyways, now we are following our main character kind of coming into her own as she discovers what life is being a honey witch and this magic that was kind of always under the surface but wasn't really available to her. And it's really nice seeing her mature and make friendships, and there's some romantic subplots, and I have some theories about some things, and I'm very excited to find out if I am right or not. At this point in the book, she is just about to go home for the first time in like a year since she has found out that she's a witch and gone to live with her grandma. So really interested to see what's gonna happen when she comes back home, because there's some tension between her and her mother. I'm really enjoying it so far. The audiobook is amazing. There's so many different accents in this, and especially the grandma's accent. I just love hearing it. I love hearing it. I think the audiobook is really well done. It's got quite a cast of characters, and sometimes I think that can get confusing, but because there's different accents for different people, I think the narrator's done a really fantastic job of making all the characters seem distinct, and obviously the author's done a really fantastic job of creating really distinct three-dimensional whole characters. So I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm gonna go eat my snack, my second lunch here, and then I will see you guys later. We still have to read basically the entirety of Come Closer today, and I'm supposed to go see a movie tonight with friends. We're going to see Mad Max Furiosa. So I don't know when the reading is gonna get done, but it'll get done. It's me again, surprise! Apparently, I just didn't have a brain while I was filming the second half of this, because obviously you're dying to know what I thought of Furiosa, and I didn't tell you what I thought of it, and I'm here to let you know that it was incredible and I loved it. I don't drive a fancy car. I don't have a cool sounding engine. I drive a Jeep Patriot, but I felt so cool driving my car, leaving that theater. Less weird fluids than were in the first one, but also less flaming guitars. So, you know, it's a toss-up. And the biggest letdown of them all, the movie theater did not have Coke Ices. They had a Sprite Icy. Who in their right mind wants to drink a Sprite Icy over a Coke Icy? Couldn't be me and my friends. We were devastated. But I got chicken tenders, so it wasn't all lost. And now that you have that vital information, we can go back to our final day of the readathon. It's the last day of our readathon. We're behind. I have 2 books to read today, kind of, basically. Not really. I have half of 2 books to read, which makes it feel worse than it is. I'm halfway through Come Closer by Sarah Gran. This book, so good. I'm loving it. I'm speeding through it, but not fast enough because I'm still behind. I was still supposed to finish this yesterday, and I did not. We're up to a 7 on the Demon Possession Past and Present quiz, which means you're possessed. Consult with your spiritual counselor immediately. You may be a threat to the safety of yourself and your family. See the resources page for a qualified professional in your area. I'm so excited. She's about to go and visit this spiritual advisor, psychic person, Sister Maria. Can't wait to see what that brings. This is silly and absurd and dark and scary and made me frightened because I was taking a shower this morning and my light started flickering and I was convinced that there was a demon in my house. I'm loving the dream sequences. There's an imaginary friend that's playing a role in this in a super creepy way. The dog knows that something is up. There's a weird tapping in the apartment, and her husband, they're like constantly fighting. Ah, it's just so good. I love a possession story where you can see, like in The Grip of It, where you can really see the haunting having an impact on this relationship in a really insidious, evil way. Loving it. I'm gonna quickly finish this and then we will check back in. I have finished a book. It's not Come Closer, but I have finished a book. I also have some cookies that I almost found on the floor. Let's talk about the Honey Witch. I did indeed guess both of the twists, if you will. I'm not sure how much the author wanted us to be shocked by that, but I personally saw them coming a mile away. So that made me feel smart. So I enjoyed that. I would have liked to have been surprised maybe a little bit more. It did get a little absurd at the end, but I think any book in which there is a love curse is bound to get a little bit silly. And this one did. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think I'd give it like 3.5 stars. Maybe that's being harsh. Maybe I want to give it 4. I think I want to give it 3.75. I think that's what I've decided on. I liked it a lot. I was really enjoying it. It got a little bit silly. It does have a nice mix of like cottagecore vibes plus Bridgerton almost vibes. So if that's the niche you're looking for, that intersection, highly recommend. It is queer. There are multiple queer relationships in it. I loved all of them. And also some very good like family platonic love in there as well. Let's try these cookies. Here's what I like to do when I make cookies. I feel like a lot of times when people want cookies, you go to the store and you buy frozen cookie dough and you make your cookies. I'm telling you, if you just use the recipe on the back of like the Toll House chocolate chip cookies, it makes a big old batch, and then I just freeze all of the cookie dough, and then I'll cook like 2 at a time, and then I have freshly baked warm chocolate chip cookies all the time, and they taste so much better. Let me give you a little ASMR moment. They're just so good. I love them so much. Okay, it's Thursday night. I have a video that needs to go up tomorrow. It's not this video. We have work to do. I need to go finish editing and uploading this video, and then we will finish late at night by reading a demon possession story, and that should be no issue for my sleep schedule whatsoever. Okay, I have finished Come Closer. This is 5 stars. This was so good and very scary at the end of it. I ended up finding the audiobook on Everand, which I listened to for a little bit while I was getting ready for bed. I loved this so much. It's just so well done. At every point in the book, you can kind of see how it could not be an actual possession and it could actually be an actual possession. It's very clear that Sarah Gran is trying to say something about humans and the way that we change and how confusing that would be to doubt yourself. Like, our main character is doing things that are really out of character, but when she goes to talk to a therapist about it, he's telling her, you're just coming into your own. You're just growing up, getting older, standing up for yourself, and this is a good thing. It's also really cool. There's a postscript from the editors in the back here. It's like people who've written in, and the questions and answers are so good. It's like people saying, oh, I scored really high in this test. Should I be concerned? They're like, yes, you should be very concerned. And it just gets more unhinged as the question and answers go on. This was absolutely fantastic and such a good end to this little readathon that we did. And we did it. We read 7 books in 7 days. I loved everything that I read. I didn't hate anything, so that's fantastic. I think the lowest rating was a 3.5, 3.75, so huge success with all of these. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I feel like I have so much footage and this video is gonna be like 3 hours long, so if you're still here, I appreciate you so much, and I will see you next week. If you're new here, I would love for you to stick around and join our cozy little community here. And thank you again to Parade for sponsoring this video. I'm actually wearing my little bralette right now to go to bed in because it's so comfy. That discount code is gonna be in the description, and it gets you 50% off. So if you're looking for some new bras or underwear, go check them out. I love them, and I will see you all next time.